This is Wheezy, the coldest trainer in all of Pokemon.
One at a time. Mr. Alain, how is your battling so consistent?
Alain?
My life is consistent.
Oh my goodness!
Is it not Alain?
The league is taking notice to all of your bling, Alain. We gotta know, are they real VVS?
Come on now, you know my stones are mega.
It's so cool! I got a question. I'm not buying all this aura farming nonsense. We know you're a mega merchant. When will you finally realize that your ass is not in an edit? Wake up, filthy.
Hello, Captain Chromio.
So this cool ass brother Alain will be the first installment of the Kalos trilogy arc of us unearthing the most insane characters, battles, and stories in Pokemon. And my god, this dude's misguidance is almost as high as his aura. A true champion of a broken path. And to understand him fully, Professor Sycamore's lab assistant. Shit, if I ain't know any better, I would have thought this kid was also his son.
Yeah, he basically looks like him.
Fooled me once, but I'm really Morty in this bitch, bro. Y'all are related. Son or not, Alain was an innocent little boy who deeply cared about Pokemon and his research. This man was so wholesome, one of the first things he does is rescue this rabid, wild, ugly ass Gibble and bring him to the professor like a stray puppy. I don't care what it becomes, my nigga. You gotta have a different type of heart to love this thing. Look at this naughty ass runt. You leave it alone for 5 fucking minutes and it just causes a damn ruckus, damaging all that expensive ass lab equipment. So Alain was working under the prof for
Sorry, the way that Gibble was like looking at them from behind the thing was a little funny.
a minute, at least long enough for this badass Gibble to evolve twice. But one phenomenon caused Alain to abandon Sycamore and the lab for good. Mega evolution. When a Pokemon holds its Mega Stone and shares a strong bond with its trainer who must also have a Keystone, Mega evolution becomes possible. Now this was the topic of Sycamore's lab research, and the whole idea of it interested Alain greatly, because he basically told Sycamore, fuck this lab research, I'm in the fields with it, I'm about to go find my own Keystone and see what this shit is all about. And just like that, my guy just straight up and left. And
wait a second, did the professor take his did Professor Sycamore take his Gibble? Did he not give it back to him? Did he literally just yank that Gibble away from him? And claimed ownership?
Ironically brings him from having one Mega Evolution obsessed mentor to another. Alain gets a lead that this random ass ruin could hold a Mega Stone, so he pulls up to search for it as the first quest of his new journey. But when he shows up, he finds nothing until he hears a rich ass voice that says, looking for this? And it's the Ginger Stallion CEO, Lysander, holding up the exact Ampharocyte he was looking for. Alain can't believe it, and Lysander gives him a simple ultimatum. Beat me in a battle, little man, and this stone right here is all yours. Now Alain ain't want to duck smoke, so he says, let's do it, and sends his Charmeleon to pounce on Pyroar. But unfortunately, Lysander whooped this nigga's ass so bad and rendered him so psychologically vulnerable that he left him with one thought that would change his trajectory forever. To achieve what you dream of, you must become the strongest. And that sentence right there altered Alain's brain chemistry permanently, and he gets invited back to Lysander Labs, where Lysander explains that he has the goal of harnessing Mega Evolution energy for, and I quote, peaceful means. Now,
of course.
Let me do my DJ Khaled shit real quick and create
nothing like harnessing energy for quote-unquote peaceful means. Totally not a red flag.
A super team and goes, hey, in that case, you should ask for help from Professor Sycamore. What a horrible fucking suggestion. I mean, what we do is very dangerous, Alain, and we wouldn't want to put that pretty boy professor in harm's way now. What if somebody evil got a hold of our data and targeted him? And Alain ate that shit up completely, and he said, yeah, that shit would be horrible. But then Lysander offers Alain a deal too sweet to pass up. Alain, why don't I make your journey to the top a little more mega? Little did this man know he was about to hit the jackpot. A Keystone and a Charizardite. Help me change the world for the better, and it's all yours. And you could probably guess what happened. This man unknowingly signed the fattest 360 deal in Pokemon history. This Mega Ring.
I mean, he is basically being manipulated.
Battles and sent it straight to Lysander to harness. The nigga sold his whole soul for that Black Charizard bad shit. Can I blame him though? And as we flash forward to the present, we see he is already putting that stone to use as he is in the middle of battling this blonde girl named Astrid and her Absol. And as you can see by the ice, she's a Mega Stone user as well. And if you were curious as to how much power is unlocked through Mega Evolution, please direct your attention to the Mega Charizard's Dragon Claw that misses but still even tries to return with that weak ass Dark Pulse. But Alain was straight spamming. He must have visited that granny at that one waterfall on Sevi Islands, cause Charizard hits a motherfucking blast burn. So it's clear Alain may have lost the plot and even lost some social skills in the process. Like shortly after this battle, he ends up meeting this little girl named Marin, who was watching his terroristic battle and couldn't contain her shock. She was like, OMG, hi, I just watched your battle and wow, I've never seen a Charizard like that before. You're incredible. Probably the second most incredible trainer I've ever seen.
Damn, the glazing.
The Pikachu who saved Professor Sycamore's Garchomp from a rampage. Speaking of the professor, I got my partner Chespy from him. And this man Alain heard that whole giddy rookie ass story, including mention of his ex-boss, and all he responded with was, so do you want to battle or what? My nigga,
a child?
A Chespin! Let your guard down for 1 minute. Now after talking with Marin for a bit, he did just Marin and pulls up to these dusty ass ruins, and sure enough, a shiny Megastone was etched into the walls. But as he was leaving, now wait just a minute, is that a Megastone, little boy? Maybe this'll change your mind. And he not only sends out a Garchomp, but flashes his Keystone. And that's all it takes for a Mega Fiend like Alain. He sent out his Charizard with the quickness and said, then it'll be a battle between Dragon types. What an amateur. Charizard ain't no damn Dragon type.
Does he know?
And they waste no time, straight Mega Evolving off rip. Garchomp slides in early with that Dragon Rush, but Charizard breaks free and hits him with Flamethrower from the sky. Garchomp tries to fly in for a dual chomp, but Charizard just ducked and weaved, then parried his shit with Dragon Claw. They both nosedive towards the ground, and after just staring each other down, Garchomp was packed. Slow your roll, kid. Chespy do not got that in his bag. But Alain decides to humor the big bro role and oversees her attempt at catching this wild Flabébé. And for once, he actually seems a little human. She tries it at first with Pin Missile, but Alain from up top is like, what type of weak shit is that? You gotta hit it with a status move. Then it'll be easy pickings. And y'all really try to be on my ass about show mechanics ain't game mechanics. Listen to this nigga after she catches the thing. You best get to the Pokemon Center to deal with that poison. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. Nan went ahead and ditched her again. And what was the reason he left? It's also given an extra boost due to Mega Blastoise's newly gained ability, Mega Launcher, which powers up all Pulse moves and Aura Sphere. But nope. Matter of fact, his blind hunger for power only got stronger and actually landed him in Hoenn to pursue the original source of Mega Evolution, which was a mission assigned by Lysander off a lead from an ancient stone tablet. And within 5 minutes of Alain and Marin's trailing ass landing there, look who they fucking find. Oh my god, what the fuck are the odds of that shit? This is like being in the UK and just randomly finding like James Bond or KSI or some shit. So Alain somehow doesn't know who this man is, like he's living under a rock or something.
He doesn't know who Steven Stone is?
Living under a stone. But he takes one look at this Keystone like, you're a Megastone user, as are you apparently. Well, let's cut the chit chat, old timer. Let's get active. This nigga don't want no autographs or none. I would have been in that bitch asking for a picture at least. But Steven goes, clearly you don't know who you're talking to, youngin. But I'm actually quite busy. This won't take long. I gotta give it to him though. That nigga is cool. That nigga is cool. So out comes Charizard and Steven's signature shiny Metagross, and both of them get right to it by Mega Evolving. Charizard makes the first move with Flamethrower, but Metagross uses Psychic to simply redirect that bitch into the sky. Had the boys looking like Defoe. Metagross gets in an early Flash Cannon and even lowers Charizard's special defense. And the levels were starting to show. Charizard then gets in with a Dragon Claw, but Metagross hammers him into a rock with Meteor Mash. Charizard's able to recover and slams a Blast Burn, but Metagross's Steel type ass takes it like nothing happened. They both decide to close in on one another for one more clash, but Pyroar suddenly gets in the middle of it all. Do you two fellas mind if I step in? Enter Lysander. So Lysander steps down, interrupting the battle, and introduces himself to Steven before saying, Alain, you dumbass. This is Champion Steven Stone, a very important person and a potential business partner in our research. So Lysander gives Steven that BS speech about wanting to harness Mega Evolution energy for peaceful means, and they realize that they're after the same giant rock that's said to hold the origin location for Mega Evolution. So after exchanging information, they conclude that 1, it's located at the top of this floating island, and 2, that the gate to said floating island can only be opened when 2 keystone holders meet. And sure enough, Alain and Steven combined their efforts and a prism staircase stretched into the heavens, and at the top, the giant rock revealed itself. Then Lysander wastes no time. This dude gets all his researchers to set up a field operation with army-like quickness and immediately starts gathering data on the rock. A little sus how quickly he got that shit going, but I digress. And the researchers find that the giant rock had the same energy pattern of a big-ass megastone. But if it's basically a megastone, you might be wondering, where is its Pokemon? Ladies and gentlemen, these niggas done summoned Rayquaza. This legendary green serpent pulls up from the heavens, uses the giant rock's energy to fucking mega evolve, and begins to rampage. I don't get paid enough for this! So now obviously Alain and Steven gotta deal with this giga threat, but this is where we quickly learn that there are levels to this mega evolution shit. I mean, look at this dude Charizard rising up into the air and using flamethrower. Rayquaza just slithers around that shit with ease, then Dragon ascends straight into him. Charizard obviously falls, but before these guys can even recover,
clean way he wrapped around this flamethrower like that.
Draco meteor, like he's trying to blow up the entire floating island. This fucking spawn of Satan almost killed the whole cast of the series before simply flying back into space and devolving like nothing happened. Not only did this man almost kill everything on that island, but more importantly, according to Lysander, the giant rock disappeared. Holy shit, bruh. So now a lot may have happened, but Lysander's evil ass's biggest concern is still obviously, where the fuck is my shiny ass rock? And my biggest concern is why you haven't subscribed yet. Nah, I'm just kidding. But he sets up a Zoom meeting with Steven, who's at his dad's billionaire HQ, aka the Devon Corp, and they get to discuss it. And after sharing more info, the conclusion they reach about the rock's location is absolutely insane. They find a similar energy pattern being emitted off the shore of Rustboro City, except suspiciously, 2 entities were also closing in on its location. What were those entities? Oh, you know, just Groudon and Kyogre. These 2 motherfuckers have been going band for band on Twitter recently, and now they are both going in to fight over the rock. And this wasn't just any old scrap. These 2 were about to have a throwback fight. Not only did they revert
potentially
to
destroy
forms,
the world,
the shiny rock they're about to scrap over, it's actually the same reason they originally fought in prehistoric times. So Lysander obviously wouldn't want anyone to touch his precious rock, let alone these 2 threats, so Alain volunteers to go investigate the situation with Steven, and the idea of him going was just too much for poor Marin.
What's this little girl still doing here?
You already got packed up by 1 supercharged legendary. You can't possibly think you can take on 2. What if Charizard loses? Or worse, what if you die?
And this man Alain really heard all of her crying and concern and said, I'm not your damn babysitter. Now get the fuck out of my face.
Is this nigga serious?
I mean, goddamn, bro, tell us how you really feel then.
So as planned, Alain and Steven fly over to where the battle is about to begin, and as predicted, the giant rock begins to form in the middle of them. Lysander gives Alain private orders that investigating from above ain't enough, and that he needs to get in the mix and protect that shit. And this was not what Steven was expecting, and he was like, nigga, have you lost your goddamn mind? But it was too late. Alain was already getting active, and Steven had no choice but to join in. Steven volunteered to take on Kyogre while Alain took on Groudon, and to start, things were actually going decent. Alain was weaving through precipice blades, hitting flamethrowers, Metagross was landing powerful meteor mashes, but this shit was obviously not.
I love how Ash is just back in Kalos and just living his life. All this chaos is happening and he's just traveling.
Not easy. It looked to be decently even until Alain obviously starts tripping and doesn't hesitate to jump out the helicopter to the iceberg to check on him. His tail has clearly dimmed, so he has to return him to his Pokeball. But as he turns around, he finds Groudon wrestling Kyogre like he's fucking shark wrangling and toss him towards Alain before erupting towards him and knocking him out. So out comes Marin, who infiltrated the ship on some GT pan shit, and she's trying to rescue Alain as Steven holds off the others. But it's clear that this shit was getting grim, and at the peak of this tension, the giant rock takes its full form. And where the giant rock forms, so does you know who. And you know what happens.
Here comes Rayquaza.
To the battle. belt to ass. Groudon Kyogre all of a sudden joined their efforts trying to deal with Rayquaza, but shit is just not hitting no matter what they throw at this thing. I mean, look at how shook these motherfuckers look. What do they say? A Christ of 300 looks like a phantom till a phantom shows up? Hello. It did not matter what these two attacked bro with. He was hugging everything. When the cameraman starts doing shit like this, just know it's about to get techie. And boom, these two got smacked so hard they returned to present day forms. And despite it looking like everything has settled down, there's still one wild card who's always mysteriously lurking in this plot. With the quickness, a Lysander Corp submarine shot up a capture net and seized in the giant rock within 5 seconds.
No!
And the only explanation from him to Steven is,
Yes, fucking finally!
"Sir, you're live." Oh, yes, Steven, since our last
Encounter, I've developed a meticulous method for sealing off the rock's radiation
to prevent future
incidents. So I'm going to bring it back to research for peaceful means.
Peaceful means, huh?
So now that he's faced the whole and big
Wait a
thing in
second,
2
he
days,
left the
Alain
lane.
shares a thankful moment with Marin after she saved his ass. But even so, this nigga abandons her again to follow Lysander back to Kalos on his ones and meets with him. And ladies and gentlemen, the manipulation just continues. Lysander tells this man, "Alain, I know it may seem that I sent you on 2 suicide missions in 2 days, but I hope you know that you are my star employee. Now that I have my shiny
Even though you
Emerald,
tried to kill him
you are
twice.
officially a part of how we'll harness it for peaceful means." You know me so well. God, it just is hard to watch. Lysander then suggests that Alain takes a little break before continuing his missions, but Alain opts to do the literal exact opposite. This man is 4 losses and 1 draw in his last 5. My brother's form is relegation worthy, so he instead asks Lysander for the unthinkable. A gauntlet of 10 Mega Evolution trainers versus this man Alain with no breaks in between, where if he loses at any point in these battles, he must forfeit his Keystone and Megastone. First, it was this Weevil Underwood looking ass and his weak ass Grass Frog.
Against the fire dragon, yeah. Okay.
Then it was Jafar from Aladdin and his partner Alakazam. Heracross, Scizor, Ampharos, it did not matter. My nigga was on a kill streak, but as he's on this absolute massacre, who finds her way back to him but Marin? And she must have.
How did she
caught
even
this
get
man
here?
in the worst possible
Isn't this Lysander Corp territory? How did you even get in here? Where did the security guards?
moment, because she goes, "Alain, I'm back. Are we gonna continue our adventure?" And this man Alain snapped on her for the last time. How many times do I have to tell you to fuck off? I want to protect you, but I'm not strong enough yet. But I can't get strong enough to protect you when you're around. And that was the last straw. Marin runs off and starts sulking in a stairwell in the lab and tells Chespy that she wants to be alone. This mean ass bully Alain done broke her heart, so she starts crying while Chespy gives her space and starts snooping around until he hears a random cry that ends up being from a Zygarde core. This nasty ass booger would go on to become Squishy, but as he's snooping, the lab experiment goes haywire, causing a bunch of delta energy to burst and expose Chespin to that radiation. This glowing green chestnut felt a connection to Squishy now and ends up freeing him from the Lysander lab scientists, but unfortunately he was so drastically affected by the radiation that he was put in a coma. Meanwhile,
Oh my god, he
Alain's
died?
finally against his final opponent in the gauntlet, and it's up against another Elite Four member, Malva, and her Mega Houndoom. So she starts talking shit like, "I heard you lost to my guy Seabold with your bum ass." And Alain's like, "He had the type advantage, bitch. Now bring out that Houndoom." And don't get me wrong, their battle was cinema. I genuinely thought he might catch another L, because Charizard tried a flamethrower, but that shit was met with flash fire, basically meaning Houndoom just ate it up like a sick fuck and used it to fuel him. Not to mention Houndoom was putting the pause on this man Charizard. That crunch put in some work, enough work for Malva to start questioning what we all want the answer to. So like, why do you want to be strong anyways? All this mega shit, what's the point? But this man Alain was still being cryptic. He was like, "None of your fucking beeswax. Now hold this fucking blast burn." And he was not lying. That flash fire did not do shit against that motherfucking ult. And Alain emphatically completed the gauntlet. Now, even though he was unclear during the battle about what his purpose was, after winning, he at least says that he can finally protect the ones he loves. And ironically, when Lysander asks,
Hold on. Does Alain only have one Pokemon? Has he only had Charizard this entire time? He didn't build a team of Megas?
who that is specifically, word about the
Not yet.
Chespin situation comes to them. And it is looking grim, ladies and gentlemen. Even Sycamore pulled up to see what was going on and finally meets Lysander. Despite this reunion of everybody that he knows, Alain can't even bear to turn the corner to face them and runs off. After After all, in a sick and twisted way, he is partly to blame, and this emotional vulnerability puts him exactly in the same situation as the start of this arc. And Lysander once again swoops in and promises to help him recover under one condition. Alain, it's all up to you. You must complete the Mega Evolution system in order for us to heal him.
What is the connection?
His manipulation
what's the connection?
knows no bounds, bro. And off Alain goes to continue his mega adventure. So now, instead of what seemed to be a decent little healing arc, Alain is arguably in a worse position now than when he started. In this blind pursuit of power, he still couldn't protect what he cared about. And to make matters worse, he's even more wrapped around Lysander's finger than ever before. And after cutting ties with the only real beacons of humanity in his life, at this rate, he seems to be stuck down this path for good, with no one left to save him. Unless... I'm telling y'all, you're gonna want to sub and turn on post notice for this next one. This story is far from over.
To hold y'all down, the Lake of Cutie video is now live on Twitter. I tried everything, y'all, and I don't have Patreon video access yet. Just hit the highlights tab on my Twitter for both my vaulted vids. Also, I appreciate y'all for the love on my first IG post on my birthday. All of the kind messages really meant a lot.
But until the next installment, I'm gonna catch y'all very, very, very soon. Peace.
I hate a privileged rapper who don't
You gotta watch the second one.
diamonds they hit like a rainbow, that's cause the necklace of flame.